All right, mic check, mic check. Hey everybody, we're back. We're back again. We're live. Hey, my name is Abe Duque. I am an instructor at 343 Labs, also a music producer, and a dad to two beautiful girls. I'm here once again for your once a week Fridays Bitwig Basics show here on 343 TV. We stream every day at 1 p.m. And today is Friday, and Fridays we do Bitwig. I'm sitting here and we'll be joined with Thomas in the background. Thomas, are you there somewhere? Let's see.
Hey, Abe, I'm here.
All right, Thomas is there. Let's bring Thomas in here and see if how you doing, Thomas? How you feeling?
Doing good, man.
All right.
Excited to be back for another show today.
I am as well. Trying to keep all this technical stuff together, trying to get better at this streaming game. It's not easy to watch the chat and have a look at the software you're working with and keep the thread of what you're thinking about and trying to teach or talk about in your head. But we're getting there. We're all getting better.
Yeah. With the tag team between me and you, I think we can handle it just fine.
Looking at the chat, we have a couple of people. I see Josh. That's Boulder Voice Lessons. That's Josh saying hello. Hello, Josh. That's a student of mine who's been in my Ableton class and then went on to take on my mixing and mastering course, which, by the way, we have a couple of those coming up, don't we, Thomas?
Yeah, we actually have a course starting on Monday, so last chance to get in there and get learning with Abe for this session, which should be really exciting.
So that would be mixing and mastering Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at 7:15. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, and then
yes,
I think on Sunday we have an Ableton class starting as well.
Correct. Middle of the day at 12:15.
All right, Quantum Space says hi, and I say hi back. Also, I see Max Wild is in the mix somewhere in there. Max Wild is always creeping around. He's always trying to steal the game of the other streamers here at 343 TV. Max he's on a mission to become the number one streamer on 343 TV, but TAETRO has him beat. And anyway, so we're here to discuss Bitwig. Let's get back into our program today. We're here to talk about Bitwig and everything to do with Bitwig. And for those that don't remember, Bitwig is our DAW. It is my favorite DAW. I mean, you can't get better than Bitwig, I think. And when it comes to workflow, when it comes to the sound, and just the future-minded ways of putting together all that has been great up till now, and everything that has been computer software, and integrating it into a music software. Last week we started a little bit of something, and I promised I would. I promised you a couple of things. I promised that I would bring this session back, which we didn't do much on. We just had this one polysynth going here. And as you remember last week, we discussed, the fact that modulation was probably one of the number one things that Bitwig does so amazing. We were able to grab an LFO, which we have here, and we were able to tweak it out and match it up with a couple of parameters here. And if you see anything that's moving in blue is matched up with this LFO here. We also have a randomizer here, but I think I didn't use the randomizer to do too much because it's random. But anyway, just to recap, the way you get any modulation going is that you come here, press this little button here, and anything that turns that green color now can be set to randomize. So let's randomize, and here are the randomizing parameters, or randomization parameters. But now let's get that going, and let's randomize. I don't know, what should we randomize? Let's see, what about the mix between these two guys? So let's get that going. So there.
Hey, Abe.
Yep.
I'm seeing in the chat here that they can't see your screen.
They can't see my screen. Oh yeah, you know what? I had problems with that last time, and we're doing that again. What would I do without you guys? So how about that? That better? That's
Perfect.
that's
And
much.
while I have you, I just wanted to also mention that we are doing a giveaway again today.
Oh really?
For
I was going to
some
ask about
Bitwig
that. Are we
licenses.
really? Is that really going? Do we have more giveaways to give away? What are we
Yeah, we
giving
have
away?
plenty of giveaways still to come with 343 TV. So today we're going to be giving away another three 8-track licenses to three lucky winners. So I'm about to drop the link in the chat. So look out for that, everybody.
All right, and keep on reminding me if I forget to switch a screen, because as I said, I'm here switching screens and remembering all this stuff at the same time, and it's easy to forget. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Let's see. Oh, I guess Josh from Boulder Voice Lessons is a good old friend of Max's, and they're catching up, I guess, in the uh, in the chat. Let's see what else we have. Abe, not that you're ugly, but please show your desktop instead. Okay, maybe a little ugly, but but I will show my desktop. All right, so we were talking about the modulation. We were talking about the modulation that we get in Bitwig, and here we have a view of our modulators that we were discussing this LFO here, and how this LFO was modulating the things that you see move in blue. And an LFO, if people are not aware what LFO is, it's the L and the F and the O stand for low frequency oscillator. And well, what does that mean? Well, an oscillator creates a waveform, and in this case, the waveform it's creating, it's a sine wave, and a sine wave does this. And what you can get happening is you can match up a sine wave and the way that at the rate that it's oscillating, and match it up with a particular parameter, like let's say volume control, or I don't know, opening and closing a filter. And if you get that going on, then you're having some pretty fun modulation, and the movement in all these parameters makes some very interesting sounds. And that's how we're getting this to kind of get that expressional feeling in it going on. Yes.
Looks like we just still got to switch back to your screen. I think we're still maybe showing me.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Here we go. This is one thing I got to work on. I got to put a post-it note on for myself. So here we go. There we go. There you are. I know that Thomas is better looking than I am, but
Not sure about that, but
all right. Now let's do this one more time. Third time is the charm. Okay, let's go. So we have modulation happening, and the modulation is happening on this modulator here by the use of a sine wave generated by this low frequency oscillator. And I was doing this with my hand. When you couldn't see me, you could just see Thomas. This is me doing a sine wave with my hand, and this is me having a parameter tied to the sine wave. And that's what happens to the parameter. And if the sine wave moves faster, the parameter moves up and down faster. And if it moves slower, the parameter goes up and down slower. And in this case, that's what's happening here. As you may see, the parameter moving over here according to the movement of this here. And we can continue to add modulators. In this case, there's the randomizer that I was talking about earlier, and then I could add a third one here if I want, and I could even continue the game and add more and more. But so now we have that going on. So let's move on, and let's get this show moving a little more and add say a kick. So we'll do that by Ableton has these really, I mean not Ableton, sorry Bitwig. Bitwig has these really amazing drum synthesizers built in. And let's go to looking at one of them for now, which is the kick. Let's drop the kick in there. The reason I said Ableton earlier is because as I told you guys earlier, I have an Ableton class starting on Sunday. Well, I'm teaching Ableton quite often, so I'm very used to talking about Ableton as I'm trying to show something or teach something. But this is Bitwig, and hopefully we could start some Bitwig courses soon. If you guys are, latch on to to these presentations I'm making, maybe you want to actually get a full-on course with that. All right, so let's get a kick going. So I'm gonna create a clip with nothing in it, and if I can go here ahead and just maybe play here, I can get a kick, and any one of these keys are going to play the same tone. It's not going to like pitch or anything. It just really just wants to play one note. So I'll just write a note in there, and then I'll get that to just get going. And now that's already starting to feel a little more like a track. Now let's look at the parameters that we can tweak in this this kick drum. So we have a little bit of decay here, and we could tune it here. The tuning is right now at around 48 hertz. I like 50 hertz. 50 hertz is the magic frequency, I think. You know, if you talk to any drum and bass producer, the magic, you know, bass line kick, you know, bottom that they want to have for the boom is 50 hertz. So we're gonna stick around 50 hertz. Right now we have a little punchy little kick, but let's make it a little more punchier by adding a little more pitch modulation to it. So when you modulate the pitch on it, or use a pitch envelope, you can get some movement and it feels a little more punchy. Now it feels a little bit like a 909. Let's keep that there for now, and let's add another drum part to it. Let's go ahead and look for, I don't know, maybe a clap or something, or a hi-hat. Let's see what we have. So we got clap, cowbell, E-hat, E-kick, well we just used that one, and a snare, and an E-tom. Let's try E-tom, why not? So here we have the E-tom, and I guess I can play it with my keyboard here, but let me just I want to see if I switch my camera so you can see my keyboard. That's my keyboard now, and I'm just gonna play in some parts at random and record something, just kind of for the sake of it. So let me just have a little trouble with this. Let's try that. Now again, it's gonna just play the one note, so I don't have to jump around playing notes, but all my fingers want to get involved. So let's have a look at what happened in there. So a few notes in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tried and true method of mine. A lot of students I teach this method to, which is a really silly method. I call it the chicken scratch method, where I just take and play stuff without really thinking about it too much, and then just loop a part of it and see what that feels like. So I'm going to take now the tuning up. That's good. Let's tune it to where it might sound palatable. I'm going to keep that. Ooh, space voice. Let's go a little more bleepy. Nice. Let's add some effects, but in the meantime, let's see how Thomas is doing. Thomas, how are we doing over there? Okay.
Doing well, man.
All right. I just wanted to say ask you if there's anything important in the chat going on, but let me look myself. It says Abe Nefertiti Gold says, Abe, this is my first time seeing Bitwig. What is the major difference between Bitwig and Ableton? Well, the major difference between Bitwig and Ableton is that Bitwig is newer. Ableton is a very mature program who's been around for a very long time, and they've really solidified the DAW. Bitwig is brand new, but has a lot of bells and whistles that that no other DAW has. Ableton and Bitwig do have some similarities. I would say that the dual sequencer part of it being one of them. But there are a lot of great things that Bitwig has incorporated from a lot of other workflows, like the inspector, maybe from Logic, and, well, lots of things. Very similar, at the same time, very different. And I think in Bitwig 3, they really went completely different as they entered this, the idea of giving you this modular development tool to play with called grids. We're not there yet. Grid is like another level altogether. This is a basic sort of talk we're having now about Bitwig, but I'd say by maybe next week or the week after that, we'll get into Grid, which is really like, it's just grabbing little components and making things happen, a la, if you know, like Reactor or something of that sort. By the way, when Bitwig started to make their software, what they did was they went and created this modular development tool first. And when I first met up with them some years back, I asked them about this, and they said, well, this is what Bitwig really is, and we're just trying to put it together in a way that we can use it inside of an environment. But one day we're going to open up this modular development tool to everybody, so that everybody can go in there and do whatever they want. And it seemed really crazy for that to happen, but by Bitwig 3, this idea of the grid came out, and we'll see that in further shows. We'll get into that, but for now, let's keep on moving. Thomas, we okay there?
Yeah, everything looks good. Glad you answered that question. I think that's something that comes up a lot. We obviously have a lot of Ableton users in our community. Otherwise, people are saying Abe's in the zone, talking about the workflow in Bitwig. But yeah, I say we're good to carry on.
All right. So let me make sure that now I switch back to the Bitwig view with me in it before we keep on going. So let's just keep on going and see what's happening here. So we have, let's add some effects to this. So it's just add a plus button here. I could drag the effects into this next nesting area here, where I can drop effects into this. So I'll do that there for now. There's two zones. I could drop them over here, or I could drop them right into this device. That lets me take the device later and save it and bring it back up with whatever effects I decide to keep from in there. We'll see. So let's see what we got. Let's grab a. I was thinking either a reverb or a delay just for now, just to spruce it up a little bit. Let's try to see what we can do with this reverb. Yeah, I wanted to go and get it a little wide. And let's get a little more bottom on that. And right now I'm just working some parts out. Later I'm going to be dropping them onto the arrangement view. Get rid of those, I didn't really need those. And let's come up with another part. Let's see, what do we want next? If you guys are interested in seeing me do something, you can add it into the chat, and if I don't notice that you're saying that, I'm sure Thomas will come in and tell me. So just let's try to get this chat more engaged, or me to engage the chat more. How about that? Okay, let's see what we're gonna do. Let's add some distortion to this kick. See what happens with that. Oh wait, we're adding another device. Sorry, I'm a little bit. Let's add now a hat. A hat might be interesting. So I'm gonna program the hat by hand. Just gonna add in 16th notes straight across. See what that feels like. Pretty cool. Let's go back to the kick, because I had an idea to take the kick and add some distortion to it. So again, I could either drop an effect in here, or I could drop it in here in the chain. The difference being that if I drop it in here, if I save this device, it'll save with that in it. So might as well just drop it in here so that I could save it for another day. If I create something that I like, that is. So there's distortion. Let's open up to the bottom so you get some low end distortion. Now I'm exaggerating because I like when I get a sound that I'm working, or when I'm adding an effect to something. One of my best or favorite things to do is to exaggerate what I'm doing quite a lot, with the idea that things are going to come down from my exaggerated point. But the reason I exaggerate is just I understand clearly where I'm going with this. So it's not like, is it better or is it different? Is it in the right direction? No, I immediately know, and then I back off. And that works for me for a number of things, especially when I'm doing like reverbs or delays or compression even. I just want to see it in action, full on, and then understand what it can be if it's exaggerated. And once I get that exaggeration, I will back off and use only what I need. So I'm gonna keep on playing with the exaggerated version of that, which sounds good exaggerated by itself. See what high-end distortion sounds like if I just use. I love these possibilities of filtering. Oh yeah, that's nice. I guess I'm making a techno track, right? And I'll pull back to show you what we had before initially. And I'll just blend it in with a little bit there. Now I have a little bit more of a techno track appearing, and I'm gonna continue to add stuff in there. I think I'll add now a reverb, just to make that a little bigger. So again, exaggerating. Exaggerating these parameters just to figure out what it is that I want or don't want, and then back off and add a little bit in there. All right. So I was looking in the chat and I saw that my good old friend Max Wild has a question here for someone coming from Ableton. Can you show how things correspond in Bitwig? For example, how does the browser inspector work? One of the things I thought, actually I have a friend of mine, I got to give him the credit for this, Marco DePrima, who thought it would be a great idea to develop a course, Bitwig for Ableton users, because it is a very, how should I say, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of parallels. At least it's the only program that's, for the moment, I guess Logic now has entered the same realm, that has some of these things that, there was Ableton having things like the dual sequencer and the clips, and now then Bitwig had it, and now I think Logic has something akin to that. But okay, so let's see, like, just some of the differences. Like, I know that some Ableton users are used to seeing scenes, and they're used to seeing the scene launcher on the right side, while the scene launcher is on the left side over here. The browser, there's a general browser over here on the right side where we have all sorts of, and it's a very, very smart browser. You can really get through, you can do these smart lists, and you can look through anything in the way that you want to kind of have them appear. As you see, there's a nice kind of organizational setup here, and it's all the way to the right. You get that out of the way if you want it as well. You don't need to always see that there, but if you're you want to, I always keep it there because I always want to maybe grab something like, there's a WAV file here that I can grab, and then I can, just drop it in there real quick. On the left side, we have something that you get from Logic, which is an inspector. Well, Logic didn't actually come up with the inspector idea, but they made it popular for sure. And we have it here as well. So if you pick, if I grab a clip or something, or even a device, or whatever, this is going to give me something to talk about that on here, or not talk about, but deal with the parameters. And you can see here the LFOs that are hooked up to it, and all the values, and it's just a quick view of how to deal with things. And the same thing goes for the clips. So if you have a clip here, you could have the way the colors and the way it behaves, and whether it's looping or not, and whether it's time stretched or not, and what type of algorithm you could have for time stretching, and so on. So that's what you get in Bitwig as far as that. There are ways of switching between this view, which is the mix page, to the arrange page, which is the same with the tab that you use in Ableton. But we have more than just that, because in the arrange page we also get the mix view here. So we can take that away and just have the arrange page, but we could also get the mix view here. So if I wanted to start arranging, and this is from our arrangement last time, if I wanted to start arranging in here, I could, let me see if I could just take all these guys out of here. I could just start dropping these guys into the arrange view just by grabbing and moving it over. So if I wanted to get that synth in there already, and that kick in there already, and that tom somewhere in there, and then that e-hat in there, we're good to go. And of course, it's their loops, so you can stretch them out just like that. Get them ready, just to infinity and beyond. So it's a very, very streamlined workflow, and it goes beyond just the kind of one page and the other page. It has the two pages can work in conjunction with each other there. Okay, Thomas, how are we doing?
Doing well, man. It looks like a bunch of questions just came through in the chat. I don't know if you want to take a look at those and maybe pinpoint a few that seem interesting to you. Also wanted to remind everybody that the giveaway is taking place, so I'm going to drop the link in the chat once again for that. Don't forget to enter to win your own license of Bitwig. But it seems like people are asking about techno, a little bit more comparing Bitwig and Ableton. Some people asking about maybe playing live with Ableton compared to Bitwig.
So the way that I always think about Bitwig versus Ableton in the what it means to play live with it is that if you know anything about the history of Ableton, and maybe you know the real name that Ableton has, which is Live. It's not Ableton. The software is called Live. It was developed in order to play live. It was a live performance on stage software, and everything about it was about that. And it then dawned on them that, hey, we can kind of make this into a DAW. So they Frankensteined the thing into being a DAW. But at its core, Ableton has always been this live performance tool that became a DAW, that has DAW-like capabilities, or DAW capabilities. Bitwig, on the other hand, I think is in its core a DAW, a real DAW, and that has live performance capabilities. So as one is a live tool that can be a DAW, the other one is a DAW that you can play out with. And that's the way that I like to think about Bitwig. So the concerns on Bitwig's side, I think, are more towards what makes it a DAW, although plenty of consideration has gone into the live performance aspect of it. So I'll give you an example. In Bitwig 1, when it first came out, People wanted to compare it immediately to Ableton and Ableton's live capabilities. And what you got was Bitwig didn't have something like a crossfader, for example, which might be, well, where's the crossfader? This is a fail. No, but it wasn't. Bitwig wasn't really trying to be the program wasn't called Bitwig Live. Bitwig is a DAW, and it can play. You can play live with it, no problem. But primarily a DAW. Anyway, it's about halfway point, Thomas. Do we have some announcements to make? What do we have?
Yeah, typically we like to take a break just to talk about the school for a moment and what's behind this whole entire streaming series of 343 TV. So basically, 343 Labs is a school. We're based in Manhattan, New York. We're also opening soon in Berlin, which is something we're all really excited about, as well as been offering online classes for a pretty long time now. Abe was one of our first instructors in the online realm. And we got a bunch of classes starting next week that we're really excited about. We're hoping that some of the 343 fans of the streaming will hop into some of those and learn with Abe. A lot of opportunities there. Of course, we have a bunch of new 343 TV shows coming up. Tomorrow we have a performance with Claire, also known as dolltr, one of our other Ableton instructors. So lots of cool stuff on the way. Plenty of giveaways to come. But please, if you're out there watching, highly encourage you to go check out our website, 343 Labs, and check out some of these upcoming courses. We'd love to see some of you guys transition into learning through some of those more in-depth courses taught by our great instructors.
Right on. So let's get back into it. I see there were some questions in the chat about the integration with Eurorack and Bitwig. Yeah, there's some devices in Bitwig that are dedicated to integrating it with Eurorack, and it integrates quite smoothly, and it's amazing actually to do all your CV and triggers and gates from the software. You will need a DC coupled interface. It's not hard to find, but not all audio interfaces are DC coupled. You could find one for not so much money, but that's what you'll need in order to be able to do the right thing by your Eurorack modules. And I have a lot of fun playing with Bitwig and the Eurorack modules that I have. I use again, anybody that's into Eurorack knows how important modulation is. Modulation is it's the big mantra for Eurorack people, and the fact that modulation is really key and king or queen inside of Bitwig, that makes it ideal for a software to run your Eurorack equipment. All right, keep those questions coming. Keep your comments rolling. If I don't see them, I'm trying to get better at, like, I got the computer there. I'm trying to look at them. I'm trying to get better at reading this stuff and keeping my head on straight here while I'm trying to manage all this stuff. But that's why we have Thomas in the background. Thomas will make sure that if he sees or hears something that needs to be brought up, he'll just jump in at any point. So let's go back to what we were doing here. We have our Bitwig screen, and let's see, we have a little bit of an arrangement now going on. So let's draw that out. And maybe we'll start with that. And I don't know, bring that in there. And where's our bass line? This is our bass line. So maybe we'll start all together with the bass line. Let that ride there. See what happens in the beginning. I'll take that E-tom out of there. In the meantime, let's look for some other parts and other things we can do to make it interesting. Let's loop an area. Command L will loop an area. into that there. Or at any point, I could go back to the mix view and just drop these parts in again and sort of take over from where the arrangement is doing at any time. That kick is kind of loud. Let's try an alternate part for this one here. Let's turn that one off for a second. Let's see what. Let's all right. Maybe I'm sure a few people will be interested in trying to figure out how to do some side chaining in Bitwig. Bitwig has some dedicated tools for that. So let's try to see that and see how we get that going. So I'm gonna write a note here. So let's say I write that note there and let that play. Now there's modulation on that, so let's just keep that. Let's just add another part here. Let's make another synth, and let's try to create a bass note with that. So again, let's grab one of Bitwig's devices, one called Poly. Poly synth is amazing synth, and we're just gonna drop that in there and take. Let's make it that note there, and then stretch it out and play that in there. So we have a wrong note. Let's. Whoa. That's the right note that we want. So we can also, if you grab your mouse and put the magnifying glass here and move to the left and the right, you can make these bigger and smaller. And let's get a little bit of that typical sidechain pumping action. In order to do so, we need a device that's created just for that, and that device is called Dynamic. So let's go to. I could be typing these in, but my computer's right in front of my mic, and it's not the best setup here. I'm gonna have to move that for next time. So let's grab that Dynamics in there. Now I have to tell the Dynamic where the input should be from, and I'll do the kick, and I'll do the kick out. Now that kick out is going to determine what is going to get that compression going. So we have two thresholds. We have a low threshold and a high threshold. I think for this I want to use the high threshold, where I'll lower it to the point where I get some, and I need some actual ratio here for that to happen. So if I leave it at 0, there will be no compression. But now lowering that threshold, you get that sidechain action happening. I can play with the knee here. The knee will make it less jerky. There's more. Let's raise the threshold, and let's bring that in with the kick. That sound a bit. Sounds so delicious. I love this thing. Let's add some modulation to that. What are we going to use? So many things to choose from. We could do an ADSR, I guess, and then program that modulation to work with maybe filter. Let's work that. That's nice. All right, so that's how we accomplish side chaining inside of Bitwig. I see TAETRO has joined us. He's late, he says. Welcome, TAETRO. Thomas, how are we doing out there?
Doing good, man. I see a couple more people I've entered into the giveaway, which is good to see. A couple people joined the chat. Hello to TAETRO.
So tell us again what the actual giveaway is.
So the giveaway for today is going to be 3 chances to win an 8-track Bitwig license.
Whoa. Okay.
I
That's what we
I
did
know
last time. How are we doing? How are we swinging all these giveaways?
we got big thanks to our sponsors at Bitwig. You know, Bitwig is sponsoring the show, which is really cool to see. And we have a few more giveaways to come. Don't want to give anything away too much for the future streams, but you know, tune in to the next couple weeks, and I think we have some even more exciting stuff coming from Bitwig.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So let's get back in there. Are there any things in the chat that I should be aware of?
TAETRO says you're crushing it as usual. I think you covered most of the questions that came in a little earlier, so I think you're safe to keep it going.
Okay. So as we were saying, we were talking about getting some sidechaining going. So a lot of the people that come from other DAWs or like Ableton or whatever will look to do the sidechaining with a compressor. The compressor, that's not the way we have it set up in Bitwig. Bitwig actually has an actual device built for this, the dynamics. And you'll see there's also a low threshold here, by the way. We use the high threshold, which is the typical one, but the low threshold will also get that going. So if anything goes under the threshold, it will actually get the either the compression or expansion going, because it could go both ways. Because you could also get it to, instead of going and compressing this way, you can get it to go this way, which will turn it up on its head. And I guess we call that upwards compression. So this will allow you to either compress or pump or make it louder as the trigger tells it to. And you don't have to always make the trigger a kick. Trigger could be whatever you want it to be. By the way, this brings me to something that I wanted to show you guys. In Bitwig, one of the things I love so much is the way that the help menu is set up. So if you wanted to like understand a little more about what the parameters were in this device here, this dynamics device that we're looking at, well, we can go to a help parameter. So up here, I mean not parameter, page. So here we have a show help button. And then look at that. It shows us everything, and it's a really nice graphic. It shows us everything we have to do to deal with that. That device, and we can get that device to actually, do what it has to do from here, which is great and amazing. I can tweak the ratio right from here. So as it plays, I could really do it from the help page while reading, hey, what does this low knee do? And what is this interactive response display? Okay. And what is this? What is the difference between peak and RMS? Like, all these things are easily available from here. And when I'm done with it, I can just get out of here and keep on going. And that goes for every device. So if I wanted to do that same thing for, let's say, this polysynth here, I can go ahead to the show help, and boom, here we are. Well, right now we're just looking at this one section, but I can go section by section. Isn't that amazing? I mean, this is so well organized. It's insane. Look at that. That's liquid butter workflow. Kudos or shout out to Chris Petty for that. Max is, as always, trying to get me to talk about making techno, as I see in the in the chat. I don't know how to make techno, Max. Sometimes it just happens to me, like right now. I have a hard time with genres. I don't understand the difference between house and techno, to be honest with you. But I'll try as we keep moving forward, Max. Anyway, let's keep moving. Let's add another part. What I like to do is, when I first write a track, I usually try to collect a bunch of things, and I'll take those things and maybe I won't use them all, but I'll get to a certain point when I get bored of collecting them, and then start curating them, and then I'll start to drop them on the arrangement as part of the arrangement. So I think I need a couple more parts. I'm gonna do a little more chicken scratching now, my favorite technique, and I'm gonna do that with a. I'm gonna grab a drum machine now. There's a Bitwig has these drum machines in here. Let me try to type around this mic. So the drum machine is what you might see in Ableton as a drum rack. It looks a lot like it actually, and or other DAWs as their the devices. This one has nothing in it, but I want to go and grab me one with a bunch of stuff in it. So I'm gonna grab one pretty much at random. Let's try this Berlin fireworks kit. I don't know what that is. So what I'm gonna do now is hit double OK on that. And here we have this kit, which, okay, you know what happens is that I tried to load in, double click, and then it created another track here. So here's some parts, which I can now play with my little device here. Now I'm out of range right now. As you can see, I'm toggling these cells that are above the grid that we're looking at right now. So I just have to go down an octave or two with my controller, and then I'm kind of in the zone here. Kind of missing the zone a little bit, but I think I got them all here. So once again, chicken scratch is in order. I'm gonna go ahead and start just playing like a monkey while this is going, and see what happens. Yeah, I'm chicken scratching. And what exactly am I doing? I'm just laying down some random sort of things that I can take advantage of. One of the things I love to take advantage of is the random or chaos. I love to live in chaos. So now I grab the stuff that I created there, and I can take, and in techno, taking half a bar, half a measure, works really well. You can see that right there. Feels really already pretty good. Let me lower some of these parts so we have some headroom here. That feels pretty good. Maybe I'll do is like I'll just grab a couple of parts, right? Let's say I like that, so I'll just copy that, drop that there, and then I'll move. Let's say I like that, I'll take that, make a copy of that. I'll take that. Why not? Why not? Again, I'm going to curate this stuff later and pick just the best one out of the bunch. But this helps me out, especially when I'm not too inspired, or when I'm under the gun like right now where everybody's watching me and I got to come up with something, and I could just rely on chaos. Let's keep on going here. That's good. One more. Let's see if we find one more in here. I'm holding down Option and dragging is what I'm doing. Oh, there's more here, so. Okay, so let's have a look or listen. See which one we might keep, or. Oh, that's a pretty cool one. I didn't like that first one though. I like that one. That's interesting. I like that and this the best. And I think they go well together. So I'm just gonna make these disappear as fast as they got here. They're out of here. I'll just throw those up there. Take this out of record on mode. I don't have to have them in record on mode. And then I could go from here to this. And then maybe I'll color that a bit differently. That, and so it's starting to take shape a bit. And let's see what's happening in the chat. John Selway, I think he said he likes to live in chaos. Yes, John, you know me. Yes, I will distort something. I already distorted the kick, John. John says distort something, Abe. We're taking it slow, John. We're taking it slow. I'm not trying to encroach on your techno show on Tuesdays. Is that right? Is John's show on Tuesdays, Thomas? The techno show?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I should maybe switch up here and do something else because John might get mad at me. But what can you run down the shows that we have for the week? What do we have on Mondays?
Sure. Let's see if I can remember it all. So we got Tips and Tricks with dolltr on Mondays, which is an Ableton focused show. It's got some good Ableton push action in there as well. On Tuesdays, we got Techno Tuesdays with John Selway, who's here in the chat hanging out, which is really cool to see. On Wednesdays, we got Stuck in the House with Lewis Beck, who's an awesome rising electronic music producer, makes great house music in all different types of genres. Thursdays, we got Theory Thursdays with the big man Max Wild, which is always a fun show. We actually gave out a full 12-session course. Yeah, we gave it a full 12-session course on that show yesterday, which is awesome. It's like so much value, that we're giving away for free. Then on Thursday nights, we usually have TAETRO Talks. So all the previous streams I mentioned are taking place at 1 p.m. EST. And then on Thursdays, we have a special night show with TAETRO at 7 p.m. EST. And he's typically interviewing all different types of people from the music industry. Like Abe's been on there. A lot of the other instructors have been on there. A couple cool, really big guests like Hans Bieger was on there a few weeks ago. And last night we actually had a call-in show, which was really cool. It was a big success. We had people from the community calling in.
Nice.
And then your show is Fridays, Bitwig Basics. Can't forget, a really fun show that I've been able to be a little bit of a part of. And then Saturdays we have Saturday Showcase, which is a live performance. So we have different performers going every week.
And dolltr is tomorrow, huh?
Yes, dolltr tomorrow, which we're really excited for.
Right.
And to keep things rolling, we actually do reruns on Sunday. So for anything you missed, you can always find it on the YouTube channel. But if you want to see the full program for the week played back in one go, we have that for you guys live streaming on Sundays.
And once again, give us the rundown on classes and what is 343 anyway? What I mean, for those who might not know. Yeah, that's a good
question. I think there's maybe sometimes a lot of speculation of what exactly we are. We're doing so many different things that it can kind of be hard to pinpoint. But at its core, 343 Labs is a music school, music community, mainly based out of Manhattan, New York. But we're really have expanded in the short time we've been around. We're planning to open in Berlin very shortly, at some point this summer. So we'll have more news on that. And then through our online programs, we're really global. We have people taking online classes from across the entire globe. So at its core, we're a school, but we also are, an online community. We have a lot of in-person events when the times allow for that. So basically, we're doing a lot of stuff, and we're just trying to provide a big outlet for as many people interested in the music technology space to kind of be a part of, educate themselves on all the latest technology and just kind of spread the love for music.
What are some of the classes we have coming up? I know that we mentioned the classes that I have, but are there any other?
So Abe's got a mixing class coming up. and he's got an Ableton class coming up. So definitely check those out if you enjoy the stream that's going on today. But we also have a bunch of other courses. So we got a songwriting course that's starting very soon. We've got a Logic course as well, and also an intermediate Ableton course. I believe Abe is teaching the beginner course, and then we also have another intermediate course starting up. Outside of that, we're going to be having a sound design and synthesis course, which is taught by John, who's in the chat. Really knowledgeable producer, kills it with all the synths. And outside of that, we also have vocal production coming up, which is, a course specifically catered towards people looking to record and mix vocals. So pretty much everything under the sun when it comes to music production. And we do have, I think, at least one of all the classes I mentioned starting within the next couple of weeks.
Excellent. Thanks for that update. I'm gonna go ahead. We're kind of down to like the last 5 minutes. I'm gonna add a little bit of distortion somewhere because John was a little bit asking for that. So and then we'll come back and then we'll do the giveaways. So get ready for that. So let me open up my view again here. So let's see what we got going on. So far we got this happening. Okay, so that's that part. Let's distort that. Let's just drop something, maybe distortion, straight up distortion right in there. I mean, we have other choices, but let's keep it straightforward. Let's just go with distortion. Okay, that's really exaggerated. It's amazing. One of the things I like to do when I get a new DAW is to try to break it and try to do the craziest thing I can with it, like right now, just to test its boundaries. And that came out really nice. Remember, we started with this. Now with that, and maybe a little bit of reverb, we can really do some damage here. So let's do a delay instead. We've done plenty of reverb today. That's a big one. Let's not do that one. That's like 4 taps. I want something a little simpler than that. Let's try a delay 2. I love this crossfeed that you can do with these. And you got parameters like detune and stuff like that, which is really great. Just add a little bit there and then pan them really hard. The width here. And play with the distortion. We could even modulate that. Let's add some modulation to that. Let's grab a classic LFO, drop that in there, and modulate what is this one? This here. Oh, that's a little too much. That's pretty dope. Okay, pretty cool. I'm going to save that there and we're going to put a pin in it. At this moment, we're going to get Thomas back in here to talk to us about the giveaway. Thomas, take it away.
Alrighty. Really excited, guys. Like we mentioned earlier, we're giving away 3 8-track Bitwig licenses to 3 lucky winners, and I have selected them. So when we're ready, I will announce those. Are we all set, Abe?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, first up is a member of our community who I'm really happy to see winning this, and excellent producer. It's going out to Vinny Conti. So congratulations to Vinny on winning an 8-track Bitwig license.
Right on.
And next up, we got William Drummond. So congratulations to William. You will also be receiving an 8-track license. And Last but not least, we have Avanti Pinder. So congratulations to those 3 winners. We'll be reaching out to you guys with the information on how to get your Bitwig licenses.
All right. Yeah, I had some sound effects ready for all that stuff, but then I thought, no, it's overkill. I felt a little bit. It was funny the first time, but I don't know if I should continue with the sound effects. But maybe I
I
should.
think I think we'll at least have to pull them out for our special giveaway on the final stream.
All right,
And
we'll
don't
do
forget
that.
to
We'll do
keep
that.
tuning in, guys, because we got some big giveaways to come.
All right. So with that, I'm going to have to say goodbye to everybody. It's 2 o'clock now. We've done our hour. Again, be here next Friday, and maybe be here every day at 1 o'clock for our stream of the day. But definitely come back on Friday, because even if I can't beat Max as the #1 streamer on 343, I can certainly give him a run for his money. So come back on Friday for Bitwig Basics. Thank you, Thomas, and I'll see you guys. Oh, that's right. We're all just looking at Thomas. Let me just show me and Thomas for a little bit here. Let's say goodbye, Thomas. Bye-bye, everybody. And
Later,
I'll
everybody.
just sign off with a little live set that I did on one of those Euro racks back there. Later.